Nightly News is next. Coming up, more on the newest case of anthrax, a New Jersey woman who got it by opening a piece of mail.
And a look at the cost of war. Can the United States afford to fight?
We will see you back here tonight at 6. Now here is Nightly News.
The Attorney General issues a new terrorism alert for this week. We'll have full details. Anthrax tonight, new discoveries in Washington inside the U.S. Supreme Court and State Department, plus protecting government workers, dramatic new ideas. The war. The Pentagon claims it has killed members of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, but not the top leaders. Will the U.S. ever get bin Laden? In-depth, breaking point. Can America afford all of these new security measures tonight? The bottom line. And the family. First, the anguish. A husband lost on September 11th. Now, a new life, a new beginning. Their remarkable story.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, the nation's top law enforcement officers put the country on notice that another terrorist attack could come this week. That announcement came this evening from Attorney General John Ashcroft and the director of the FBI. It came at the end of a day in which President Bush also said the country must stay on alert because, quote, our enemies still hate us, end of quote. It was also a day in which the U.S. Supreme Court had to vacate its building because of anthrax. And a new case of anthrax involves a New Jersey woman who was not a postal worker. We'll begin tonight with that new terrorism alert. NBC's Pete Williams has the latest for us. Pete.
Tom, good evening. Senior officials tell NBC News tonight that they're taking this new warning seriously after getting new information just today of possible terrorist attacks that could come within the next week. For the second time this month, the Justice Department tonight warns the nation and its law enforcement officials to be vigilant for further acts of terrorism after receiving new intelligence information of possible attacks against the U.S. or Americans abroad.
The administration views this information as credible, but unfortunately it does not contain specific information as to the type of attack or specific targets.
Security is already tight around possible targets like bridges, nuclear power plants, and tunnels, and the nation's police, federal, state, and local, have already been braced for further attacks.
We are again asking them, and through them local communities, to remain extremely vigilant. Doing so gives us a force multiplier that could well prevent another terrorist attack.
The new warning comes as the nation copes with the scare over anthrax in the mail. In Trenton, New Jersey tonight, another case of skin anthrax, but this one in a woman who authorities say did not work for the Postal Service. Justices of the U.S. Supreme Court today met at a federal courthouse to hear cases. The first time ever the court has conducted business outside its own building. Opened in 1935, now shut down for testing. Today, one trace found in a basement mailroom, keeping the court closed at least another day. Traces, too, found for the first time at the State Department's main building.
All our mailrooms have been closed off. Mail distribution has been shut down, so it's all locked up, and it won't be opened up until it's cleaned up.
And a trace found in a building that houses the Voice of America. In the investigation, federal officials revealed today that the anthrax spores found in the recent mailings do not contain a common mineral compound called bentonite, widely used in oil drilling. Mixing it into the anthrax spores would be a signature of Iraq's weapons program.
We can say that there is no bentonite in the New York Post sample or the Daschle sample.
Tonight, officials say they hope Americans will continue to report any behavior they consider suspicious, and officials say they hope these repeated warnings will not lull people into what they call a sense of indifference. Tom?
NBC's Pete Williams tonight. Thanks very much. Now more on the Postal Service and the anthrax attacks. As we've heard, a mysterious new case in New Jersey, a woman who does not work for the Postal Service contracted cutaneous anthrax. Public health officials say they don't know how that happened. This as New York City postal workers filed suit to close the city's largest mail sorting facility until it can proven to be safe. NBC's Robert Mazzell joins me now. Robert?
Tom, the significance of this latest case is that the victim is not a postal worker, but it is still a stark reminder of the possible danger in the mail system. As of tonight, 13,300 postal workers are taking antibiotics, a massive prevention effort that could grow much larger as federal health officials draw up plans to give drugs or vaccine to as many as 700,000 postal workers. For now, CDC officials are recommending the antibiotics only for workers at facilities known to be tainted with the deadly spores. But the 2 postal worker deaths and at least 4 cases of deadly inhalation anthrax have led to anger among the workers and their unions, one of which sued the Postal Service today.
Didn't nobody die at the Capitol? Didn't nobody die at the Congressman's office? But in the post office, people died. What are they going to do about that?
The CDC now recommending masks and gloves for all the 700,000 workers who handle the mail. Officials say the agency is considering giving antibiotics to all of them, while facilities are tested for contamination. Sufficient quantities of antibiotics are available in stockpiles, but the effort would cost more than $50 million, and experts worry about side effects.
You can estimate that probably 10% of those individuals would have some side effect to the antibiotic. It might be headaches, it might be nausea and vomiting, or GI side effects.
Another worry, antibiotic resistance, the creation of superbugs resistant to treatment. Because of that fear, CDC officials now urging that people exposed to anthrax take doxycycline, a cheaper, older antibiotic, instead of Cipro, the newer drug. They want to keep Cipro as a backup in case resistance does appear. CDC also drawing up plans to offer the anthrax vaccine to postal workers.
I think clearly for our post office workers, we have to find a new defense. We've got to be proactive here if we're going to win this war.
As for the New Jersey case, health investigators still carrying out their investigation, but it seems that the main risk was that the woman got mail from a post office in New Jersey that is already known to be contaminated. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Robert Bazell tonight. President Bush today convened the first meeting of his new Homeland Security Council. Its first order of business, the creation of what they've named the Foreign Terrorist Tracking Task Force. It will be responsible for making sure would-be terrorists don't enter the U.S. That includes a crackdown on foreigners who are seeking student visas. As to the war on the military front, now in its 4th week, the message from the administration tonight, as it was all weekend, be patient. It's going to be a long haul. NBC Jim Miklashevsky joins me now from the Pentagon. Jim.
Tom, despite the long-term objectives, Pentagon officials are now beginning to express some frustration and doubts over the slow pace of the war.
American warplanes continue to hit military targets today. But despite 3 weeks of airstrikes, U.S. military officials tell NBC News, for now, the war in Afghanistan has ground down to a stalemate. The officials say that in putting together the war plan, the Pentagon made 2 serious miscalculations. First, it was believed once the U.S. started the bombing, opposition forces like the Northern Alliance would aggressively attack the Taliban military. But the loosely knit, highly disorganized rebel alliance has made no serious attempts to take any new ground. At the Pentagon, Secretary Rumsfeld clearly frustrated.
We are anxious to have all the forces on the ground move forward and take whatever they can take away from the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda.
The U.S. is now airdropping ammunition to the rebels, but once on the ground, it's transported by horses and mules, taking days to get to the front lines. The second mistake, misreading the enemy. It was hoped intensive bombing would force large numbers of Taliban military to defect. Instead, the Taliban forces are digging in. At the same time, the Pentagon is on the defensive against charges American bombs are killing hundreds of civilians. Rumsfeld says the ultimate blame lies with those who started the war.
Responsibility for every single casualty in this war, be they innocent Afghans or innocent Americans, rests at the feet of Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
As for that Red Cross food warehouse in Kabul, bombed twice last Friday, a senior U.S. military official now says it was bombed on purpose because the food was being stolen by Taliban troops. Pentagon officials are confident that the current airstrikes are disrupting any future terrorist plans of Osama bin Laden, but admit they may not stop things already planned and in the pipeline. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC. Jim Miklashevsky tonight. There are new concerns tonight about just how much America can really trust Pakistan, which is its key ally. In the past, after all, Pakistan had close ties to many of the Taliban. Many Pakistanis still support that regime. Osama bin Laden kept a home in Pakistan. So are those ties still in place during this volatile time? NBC Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent is Andrea Mitchell.
The almost daily anti-American demonstrations in Pakistan, where to many the Taliban and Osama bin Laden are the good guys, not the USA. More reason for the U.S. to worry about the stability of Pakistan, a crucial partner in the war on neighboring Afghanistan, but a country where U.S. officials don't know whom to trust. That's because Pakistan's security and intelligence forces are riddled with Taliban and bin Laden supporters, despite a recent shakeup of intelligence chiefs. How close were Pakistan and bin Laden? When the U.S. sent cruise missiles into bin Laden's training camps 3 years ago, most of those killed were Pakistani-supported guerrillas bin Laden was training, terrorists Pakistan uses to fight India in the disputed province of Kashmir. How did the Taliban gain power in the first place? Largely through the support of Pakistan's intelligence and military services.
They helped organize the military effort, and they were right there when bin Laden became one of the financial backers of the Taliban early on.
So when Bill Clinton went to Pakistan last year, the Secret Service was so nervous about terrorists penetrating local security forces, a decoy plane landed first, while the president rode on an unmarked jet, and then took one of several identical limousines. And 2 weeks ago, extraordinary evasion tactics when Colin Powell visited Islamabad. Even a deliberately aborted takeoff. Officials tell NBC News because of fear Pakistani intelligence would tip off bin Laden.
I think the Pakistani intelligence service is torn in a number of directions at this point, and as you've seen, they've recently changed some leadership over there.
In fact, today, as supporters hold memorial services for legendary Afghan fighter Abdul Haq, captured and murdered by the Taliban last week. U.S. officials tell NBC News he may have been, quote, ratted out by Pakistani intelligence agents still loyal to the Taliban. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
A significant move today by another American ally, Israel, which overnight pulled its forces out of the West Bank city of Bethlehem and a neighboring town. But those forces still are occupying 4 other West Bank towns, and Prime Minister Ariel Sharon still is refusing U.S. demands for a full and immediate withdrawal. So ahead tonight, the family, out of the tragedy of the World Trade Center, joy for a new life in a father's image. First, the Nightly News question: how much does the war on terrorism in Afghanistan cost the United States every month? We'll have the answer in the rest of the day's news when we come back.
After extensive research, we've concluded that Orbitz is the travel site with the most low fares. Aloha. Visit planet Earth via Orbitz.com from the world's leading airlines.
Reconnect with family and friends via American Greetings and Orbitz, the travel site with the most low fares. Book travel on Orbitz and you have a chance to win 2 tickets to anywhere in the continental U.S. There's a winner every hour. Visit American Greetings or Orbitz today.
When that pastrami on rye catches up with me, heartburn big time. My passenger says, here, take a Zantac 75. I say, what are you, a doctor? And he says, yeah.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust.
Impala. My dad had one of these.
Really? Wow.
I just have some very nice memories from that car.
Did his have the smoke lenses in the front? Rear deck spoiler, 200 horsepower, V6 engine.
16-inch aluminum wheel. Well, I just love that they brought the Impala back.
Whenever you call me.
Chevy Impala LS. The feeling never fades.
You're gonna love it.
This is my car.
Impala. We'll be there.
Alaska.
Paris.
Wherever you travel, you'll find a Best Western with rates starting at $49 per night. Call now.
How about Chicago? I hear it's a toddler town.
Best Western, the world's largest hotel chain. Call 1-800-WESTERN.
If you have a little difficulty bathing or care for someone who does, take comfort.
Take comfort, take comfort. There's comfort bath, take comfort.
Comfort Bath. Thick as a washcloth, disposable Comfort Bath can be microwaved for a warm, soothing bath. And Comfort Bath won't dry out skin like soap.
There's comfort bath, take comfort.
Look for Comfort Bath at your drugstore.
On an all-new Dateline Tuesday.
Okay, we are recording, and you were live, dude.
Hard to believe.
I love drugs. Drugs are family fun.
Getting high and doing it all on tape.
Yeah.
You won't believe what we uncovered, and it's happening all across America. A Dateline investigation, Tuesday on NBC.
NBC News in depth tonight, fighting the war on terrorism at home and abroad. How much is all this costing? You certainly don't have to be an accountant to figure it's a lot. The war on terrorism in Afghanistan alone is costing a bundle these days. And that brings us to our nightly news question. How much is the military action costing per month? The answer, an estimated $1 billion. That's just the beginning. Here with the bottom line on whether America can afford all of this, in depth, NBC's Lisa Myers.
Today at Ground Zero, a congressional hearing on what the country must do to defend itself at home, while many are asking just how much security can we afford. In only 7 weeks, budget experts say the federal government already has committed or spent a staggering $65 billion to beef up intelligence, the military, and homeland defense. Money for everything from AWACS and F-15s patrolling the skies of America to buying smallpox vaccine and Cipro. And this is only a down payment.
Right now, we're in a real crisis response mode. We're just, throwing money, throwing resources at the issues. So I think we need to take a step back and to say, what makes sense?
Throughout the government, officials now are assessing every conceivable move terrorists might make, the chance of it actually happening, the human and economic cost if it does, and the cost of defending against it. The top priority, covering areas where we've already proven vulnerable. $3 billion for the Postal Service to irradiate mail for anthrax. $9 billion over 5 years for a federal takeover of airline security, mostly funded through a new ticket tax. Other high priorities, increased security and hardening containment structures at nuclear plants and facilities. Higher security alone costs $1 million a year per plant. And $3 to $5 billion more to upgrade the public health service, more emergency response teams, more training. A lower priority and lower risk, protecting the food supply. Still $61 million sought for more inspectors.
Now, we have to realize that we cannot prevent against every eventuality.
For example, experts say checking every container that comes into every port is very expensive and would not make us much safer. But buying radiation detectors to screen for nuclear materials that might be smuggled in and tripling the number of customs inspectors is smart. Also cost-effective, experts say, hundreds of millions more to secure the borders.
We're going to lose our independence if we're not willing to pay the cost and organize ourselves to defend the nation.
How do we pay for all this? The budget surplus, which will become a deficit for at least 2 years. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up in a moment, neighbors in some of America's small towns scared these days because of what's nearby. A huge stash of deadly United States chemical weapons.
It was my grandson's birthday. He just turned 3. We're going to move him out of his crib and buy him a big boy bed. I was on chemo then, and I was exhausted.
Grandpa.
I said to the doctor, I need help. I'm on a mission.
If you're a chemotherapy patient and feel tired and weak, you may be anemic. Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy. And more red blood cells can mean more strength.
Oh, this is a great one. This is a good one.
Procrit is proven and safe. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers.
How do you like it up here now?
Good.
Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need.
See? What'd I tell you?
Your strength for living.
He takes a lot of energy, but I never get tired of him.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are odor-absorbing crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Morning, guys.
Hi.
Hey, morning. Like to see how your cereals stack up the total?
Sure,
to get the iron in 1 bowl of total, you'll have to eat 2 bowls of cornflakes. For folic acid, try 4 bowls.
That's a really big spoon.
Want zinc? 10 bowls for you.
What's so funny? Nothing.
Nice bowls.
Total has 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals in just 1 bowl.
We'll take the total, sure, and give Junior the check. What?
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. 1 bowl, 100%.
29, 30.
Now at Red Lobster, you can get 30 mouth-watering shrimp for just $9.99. Red Lobster, go overboard.
Alert. You have reached the end of the internet. You have seen everything there is to see. Please go back. Now.
Introducing DirecTV DSL. So fast, you'll see more of the internet than ever before. Now get 3 months for $19.99 per month. Call 1-800-BEST-DSL.
I thought you were surfing the internet.
Yeah, I finished it.
This week, in the line of fire with America's female top guns. Live with the women who are fighting our war from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Ann Curry reports live, only on Today.
Hidden treasures loved ones left behind. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Since the attacks on September 11th, neighbors in a small corner of the Pacific Northwest in this country have shared one very specific and frightening scenario about where and how terrorists may strike again. As NBC's George Lewis reports tonight, they're worried about a target that's simply too close to home.
The U.S. Army's chemical weapons depot at Umatilla, Oregon. 7 million pounds of nerve gas, mustard gas, and other deadly substances kept in 89 concrete bunkers. 12% of America's chemical arsenal. An environmental impact statement the Army filed in 1996 laid out the absolute worst-case scenario for a disaster here. A large airplane, fully loaded with fuel, crashing into one of the chemical bunkers, releasing enough poison gas to kill 10,000 people. After September 11th, the Army beefed up security here, shutting down the airspace over the depot and putting more than 100 soldiers from Fort Lewis, Washington on guard duty.
We are at a very heightened security level, and we are doing everything we can to maintain the security of the stockpile.
Many of the 30,000 people who live within an 8-mile radius of the depot say they're more jittery now. And a citizens group called GASP claims local people don't know what to do in a disaster.
With all the money that's been spent here and the years of working on emergency preparedness, people should know what they should do, or maybe it's a sign that we really don't have an effective emergency preparedness program in place.
State and federal watchdogs, including the General Accounting Office, are highly critical of disorganized emergency planning here, something local officials claim they're fixing.
We have a response plan in effect, and people prepared and training and getting better all the time at actually implementing it.
Government agencies have spent almost $50 million on disaster preparation. Sirens and a system of emergency radios to warn people of escaping nerve gas. Schools equipped with shelters for the children. Pressurized rooms with air purifiers. But when this school demonstrated the equipment for NBC News, an emergency generator failed, something that critics say is typical of faulty disaster planning. Now, this community has to take into account the added threat of terrorism. George Lewis, NBC News, Umatilla.
On Wall Street today, investors cashed in on last week's market run-up, sending stocks sharply lower today. As a result, the Dow was down almost 276 points on the day. NASDAQ fell more than 69 points on the day. Up next, a precious gift for a mother who lost her husband in the World Trade Center.
Must have folded my millionth sweater. I'm starving.
Want some chicken and stars?
Condensed soup? That's for the kiddie section. We're big girls now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle. Tender pieces of all white meat chicken with bigger slices of vegetables. And just the right seasonings. See the difference?
Oh, you're right. This tastes better.
Now about those Mary Janes.
It's time to go to the better taste, the Progresso. Your eyes need nutrition as well as the rest of your body. So Centrum and Centrum Silver added lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Now your eyes, your toes, and everything in between are covered by Centrum and Centrum Silver. More complete from A to Zinc.
Presenting the best holding C-Bond ever. New C-Bond, a unique comfort thin seal with 3 powerful adhesives. The best holding C-Bond ever.
Who'd you expect? Bob Dole?
Follow Mark Martin and the Viagra racing team this season.
Get to your doctor for a checkup and find out if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
And for more information right now, race over to Viagra.com.
New at 6, a new casino could soon be coming to Oregon. Now the debate over where it should be built.
For years, the Warm Springs tribes wanted to build a casino on this island in the Columbia River, and now there is more support than ever.
Tonight at 6 on Northwest News, Channel 8, where the news comes first.
It's nice to see him succeed.
He's patient, he's honest, and he seems to always have time for others.
He's a good guy to work with. I have a great deal of respect for him.
ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-ITT-TECH or visit us on the web. Take advantage of our programs in information technology. A more flexible schedule to reach your goals. Call 1-800-ITT-TECH today.
In February, Utah will resonate with the sounds of Olympic competition. Until then, it's all yours. Utah, official playground before, during, and after the 2002 Olympic Winter Games.
For the families who lost loved ones in the attack on the World Trade Center, there hasn't been much relief since that dark day in early September. After all, they cannot escape the daily reminders of their loss, and in the general climate of uneasiness, uncertainty, and new threats, there are few rays of hope. But tonight, NBC's Ann Thompson has the story of one family and a welcome sense of renewal.
After weeks of anguish, a moment of joy for Jacqueline Gavigan.
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Ready to give birth to her third child, to be named Connor.
We're all hoping he looks like Donald, and so am I. I want him to have blue eyes.
35-year-old Donald Gavigan Jr., the father Connor will never know, lost in the World Trade Center. Instead of his hand, Jacqueline clutches his picture.
I just want him to have a picture of his daddy because he would have been right there with him.
They were married 6 years. He worked as a bond broker at Cantor Fitzgerald. She interrupted her career as a speech pathologist to raise the kids. Now with family there for support, Jacqueline undergoes a C-section.
Can't wait to hear him cry.
At 4:47 p.m. October 23rd, she does.
Look up there!
8 pounds, 13 ounces, Connor Liam Gavigan is the picture of his dad.
Yeah, I wish he could see it.
Captivating his 2-year-old twin siblings, Lara and Donald III.
Oh, there he is. And I'm going to tell you all about Daddy. What a great guy he was.
Those who knew him best say Donald dreamed of raising his family on this block in Brooklyn, of buying a restaurant on Long Island and running it with his dad, of cooking in a renovated kitchen on a professional stove that he picked out September 10th. Now on the kitchen wall in their home, a way to say goodbye and remember the trips to Disney World and Hawaii, summers at the beach.
Hello, Jacqueline.
The man who loved to fish and drink good wine and so wanted another son. Connor is home. For this family, he's a symbol of hope. For his mother, an angel.
He is a special gift from God. And now I am left doing the job alone, but I will make my husband proud of me.
In the image of one life cut too short, another begins. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
That's Nightly News for Monday. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Breaking news tonight out of Dulles Airport in D.C. A section of the airport has been shut down. Plus,
based on information developed that there may be additional terrorist attacks.
All of this as a new warning comes tonight from America's top cop. Also,
I'm Steve Jefferson. Find out why Oregon lawmakers are lobbying for your safety at airports like PDX.
and the U.S. bombing raids on Afghanistan. This now enters